Yes. Ready?
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order council meeting for Green Tree for Monday, July 6th, 2026. I want to note that I'm attending tonight's meeting virtually while vacationing with my family, and I appreciate one's understanding. I also want the record to reflect the executive sessions council had held during the month of June. Council met in executive session on June 8th to discuss personnel matters involving the terms and conditions of employment for a prospective public employee. And we also met in executive session on June 15th to discuss personal matters involving the terms and conditions of employment for a prospective public employee and a current employee. With those items noted for the record, I also want to take a moment before we move into tonight's business to recognize the 4th of July holiday. I hope everyone had a happy and safe holiday. This year is especially meaningful as we mark our country's 250th birthday. Now, it's worth taking a moment to reflect on the generations of Americans who sacrificed, served, built, and contributed to the country we have today. In that spirit, I ask everyone to please stand for a moment of silence, honoring those sacrifices, followed by pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Again, would you please take roll call?
Mr. Allen?
Present.
Ms. Caskey?
Present.
Ms. Godovic? Ms. Martorella?
Present.
Mr. Panza?
Here.
Ms. Schwartz?
Here.
Mr. Ray?
Here.
Mayor Schenk?
Okay, next I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes for the June 1st council meeting. I'll motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any changes? No. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Ron, do we have Sam in the room yet? Or?
No, we're going to public comment first.
Okay, so now I'd like to open the agenda to public comment for anyone wishing to address agenda items.
Garrettson, 1163 Trainer Avenue. I'd like to speak tonight on behalf of Green Tree Athletic Association in regards to options for resurfacing the baseball and softball fields at Green Tree Park. As a long-term member of Green Tree Athletic Association and current president, I'd like to speak directly to that issue. Before going further, though, I do want to acknowledge our public works department and the borough for the incredible work they do year in and year out, keeping the park a beautiful place. We're gearing up for our annual All-Star tournament this week, and if you've been through the park today, you'll see what great condition it's in, and that's hats off to the public works team. It does an incredible amount of work helping us get ready for that and keeping the park and the fields in good condition throughout the year. Specifically in terms of the condition of the fields, I don't know when the fields will last resurfaced. The fields as they currently stand are dirt fields. I know from time to time the borough has paid to put a field conditioner down on those fields, and for a short amount of time that field conditioner does its job and improves the playing surface. But after a couple heavy rains or a season, field conditioner washes away, and we're left with the dirt. The dirt was the common standard for a long time. However, with shifting weather patterns, heavier rains, the result that we get is time lost on the fields, in the muddy fields, with them being dirt. So time lost playing, time lost for the kids, also increasing costs associated with trying to get the fields playable and maintaining the surfaces. The time with the the borough puts in helping us, get those fields back to working condition in the time that our volunteers put in, also is increasing. And so I think we're just looking for, the opportunity to work with the borough and possibly improving the surface of the fields, seeking out, bids and different options for doing so. And, we appreciate your attention to that. Thanks.
Excuse me, could you comment on this number of fields there? Which is in worse condition? I mean, there's Aiken 1, Aiken 2. I don't even know what you call the other field.
Yeah, so Hemlock 1 and Hemlock 2 are the primary fields. Those are the fields that we use for most of our youth baseball and softball. They also get the most attention, and those are fields that are also fenced in and locked. So they stay, I would say, in the best working condition, and we work hardest to keep those readily available. Aiken 1 and 2 are used less. They're open fields, open to the public, and so they're subject not just to the weather, but also to the community being on them and using them as they please, which they should. And so they get less attention to them, and I would say they're probably in significantly worse condition. But the primary focus would be improving the service of Hemlock 1 and Hemlock 2, which sit by the concession stand and that property.
And are you talking about dirt improvement or otherwise?
I think ideally, we'd like to explore putting in some sort of turf option on those fields, be it turf infields and leaving the outfield grass, or exploring turfing the entire field, be it both or just one of them, Hemlock 1 being the primary field. There are dirt options. Dura Edge is a common brand. They will resurface a field. They bring in their own material. It allows water to drain. So after heavy rains, you're not left 2-3 days with no playing. Typically, those fields dry out a lot quicker. So that would be another option we could explore.
This will all be discussed in my, where under the agenda it says discussion with baseball. That option.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Anyone else who wants to be heard related to agenda items?
Sam Salafax, 1195 Green Tree Road. Stick with me here on the beginning part. I swear this has something to do with the agenda item. Good evening, council. Policing is one of the most important responsibilities of local government. It affects our rights, our safety, and the relationship between our government and us citizens. How we govern policing is one of the clearest distinctions between a representative democracy and authoritarian system. In a democracy, police are accountable to the public through civilian leadership and elected officials. That's why I was surprised when council was asked to approve revisions to our police policy after receiving them only a few business days before the vote. Ms. Caskey requested additional time to review the proposed changes and asked for a summary explaining what was modified. I believe the request was both reasonable and responsible. Several residents, myself included, also asked that draft policies be made available for the public to review before council voted. At the March meeting, Mayor Chang stated, "A police policy is established by police and attorneys. We are not looking for public input. We are looking to the experts. We are not asking for input from citizens to establish these policies." I support relying on legal experts and experienced law enforcement professionals. That expertise should inform public policy and not replace a public accountability. I respectfully disagree with the idea that residents have no place in this conversation. These policies govern how the government exercises its authority over the people. Every resident and every officer will live under these policies that are adopted. Many communities, including the city of Pittsburgh, publish police policies and provide opportunities for public comment before they are adopted. Doing so strengthens public trust. What concerns me even more is that these policy revisions are moving forward before Green Tree has hired a permanent police chief. Our home rule charter intentionally calls for a chief of police, a leader who exists outside the police bargaining unit. The chief provides independent leadership and accountability to elected officials and residents of this community, not representation of the union. Without the independent leadership in place, who is representing the public interest during the review of these policies? The policy platform being used is designed to reduce liability and ensure legal compliance. Those are important goals. But legal compliance is not the same as community policing. Our community deserves leadership to evaluate whether these policies affect Green Tree's values, not simply whether they minimize risk. Several members of the council campaigned on transparency, accountability, and communication. On this issue, I do not believe that those commitments have been met. There is an order to good governance. First, advertise and hire a permanent police chief who is accountable to the public through the council. Second, establish a formal process for public access to propose policy changes and an opportunity for meaningful public comment. Third, implement that process before asking council to vote on future policy revisions. Transparency is not something that happens after a decision is made, and accountability begins before the vote. Thank you.
Anyone else? Public comment related to agenda items.
Yeah, Chris Cratsley, 6'9" West Manila. I just wanted to, I didn't realize that the ball fields were an item on here at first. I would have emailed earlier. I do think there should be a lot of consideration taken into the conversations that happened with the planning commission about this time last year. There's several people in this room, including Pete, who were in that conversation. There's some really good ideas on how to configure those fields and suggestions there. I just think that they should be part of the conversation.
Anyone else? Okay. So Ron, I think we're good to go for the Bird Town presentation.
Yes, we're gonna ask Lisa to ask, we'll get this started right here.
Good evening. The Bird Town Committee with me. We were asked.
Lisa, before you get started, I'm sorry, I just got an email, Mr. Wilson, and the Zoom link is not working.
Well, it shows that 10 people are on it. Do you know how they tried to access it? I can see if there's an issue.
Sure, I just got the pop-up notification and the person said that the only subject, the only content is the email is the subject, the Zoom link is not working. But if there are other people on it, it's an issue on their end.
I can go, if you want to start, I can go in and see if I could have any issues on my computer or not.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Lisa, go ahead.
So what is Bird Town in Green Tree Borough? It's the Green Tree Garden Club members caring for the municipal garden on Saturday morning. It's Green Tree Public Works sharing fresh wood chips for our trails after a storm. It's neighbors picking up mosquito buckets for their yards with the Green Tree Library. It's the planning committee researching a no-feeding wildlife ordinance and council bringing it to a vote. It's the Green Tree Rotary Club asking, how can we help? It's the Women's Civic Club inviting a speaker on native pollinator gardening in our backyards. It's the Recreation Committee hosting a bird walk through our unique Green Tree Nature Center. It's our elected officials showing up to support us as we connect with our neighboring communities. It's over 35 volunteers coming together with Dems for Green Tree to weed, cut, plant, and work on trails for a combined total of 93 volunteer hours in 2 days. It is the children planting foxglove, smelling the spice bush for the first time after freeing it from bittersweet, and discovering treasures along our creek or crick. It's all of us making our environment healthier and more sustainable for birds, wildlife, and each other. Thank you to Birdtown, Pennsylvania, Bird City Network, and Green Tree Borough for the opportunity to come together to make Green Tree a little greener. And a special welcome and thank you to Nick Stallman, Community Conservation Coordinator with Audubon of Western Pennsylvania, for his time, effort, and wisdom as we move forward. Please welcome Nick.
In progress.
Thank you. It is an absolute pleasure to be here tonight. So I've done a number of these presentations through Audubon Society of Western Pennsylvania, which serves as the liaison for the Birdtown, Pennsylvania program in this part of the state. And Green Tree has absolutely blown me away. This is the first time that I've had someone come up and talk about what Birdtown is in such an eloquent manner. I don't even feel like I should be up here anymore. This is, since the moment Green Tree first reached out, and Alyssa first reached out to say like, hey, we're interested in becoming a bird town.
to the moment we received the application and saw what you all were already doing and what you had planned, this was such a no-brainer as soon as it got to our committee. You guys were immediately accepted, and I almost immediately got responses from the Bird Town Committee on what can we do, what can we get started? One of the things that Audubon Society of West Pennsylvania is able to do for our bird towns in our region is we actively seek out grant funding to help, basically keep me as a liaison for the areas here, but also provide some funding. So we were able to award Green Tree's Bird Child with $1,000 mini grant that can be used for any sort of ideas that they come up with. And we're actually already looking at ways to implement maybe native plants or a nice little demonstration garden in the municipal area. So I'm super, super excited to see what Green Tree gets up to. And with that, I would like to say that as this community is working to promote conservation and stewardship through sustainable land care practices, habitat protection, and the restoration of natural system function to create a healthier environment for birds, wildlife, and people, I proudly declare the borough of Green Tree a bird town. Does anyone have any questions for me?
You know, it's this one.
This? Oh, well, it's gonna get on display here in a second, because I'm hoping to get a photo with the Bird Town Committee folks and anyone on council that would love to be a part of this.
Yes, Mr. Poncino, do you want me to read this or?
I would yield my time to Senator Fontana.
Okay, we'll let Senator Fontana go first, of course.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, even though I should be in Harrisburg, but another story for another day. These things are, to me, are a big deal, so I'm very happy I'm not in Harrisburg, so I could be here for this. When you see communities come together to do things together and accomplish things like this that are so good for everyone, no matter who you are, where you come from, but anyone here in Green Tree, and I'm sure a lot of other spots, folks from other areas will be coming over here. So I wanted to present a certificate of recognition to that, for that by to Green Tree Borough. If I can read it, it'll only take a minute, if that's okay. It says, whereas Green Tree Borough has been designated a bird town by the Pennsylvania Audubon Council, the Bird Town Pennsylvania program provides tools and resources for municipalities to engage, educate, and empower the residents, schools, and businesses to make more positive, ecologically friendly decisions, and promotes a culture of conservation where everyone is a potential steward of nature in their own backyard and beyond. And whereas this designation is the result of many dedicated residents and organizations who volunteered their time and worked collaboratively on behalf of the borough, meeting with elected officials, stakeholders, partnering with organizations, creating educational programming, and organizing cleanup events. And whereas these extraordinary efforts has enabled Green Tree to reestablish its environmental committee to continue building on this momentum to protect and enhance the community's natural spaces for years to come. And now, therefore, on behalf of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Senator Fontana recognizes Green Tree Borough's Bird Town designation, one of only 16 in Allegheny County, and congratulates all involved for making a positive impact on our community, including creating a healthier environment, reducing stormwater runoff, and building community pride. So congratulations, everyone.
And then in addition, Senator, we also have a proclamation from Robert Poncino, our county councilman, who is in attendance tonight. I'll abbreviate this, but it goes, whereas as part of this achievement, the borough has reestablished its environmental commitment to guide Green Tree Borough Town initiatives and ensure the long-term protection and enhancement of the borough's natural resources and green spaces. Whereas Green Tree Borough Town reflects the borough's commitment to preserving native habitats, supporting biodiversity, encouraging responsibility land stewardship. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Allegheny County Council member Bob Poncino do hereby congratulate Green Tree Borough on its designation as a Burrtown, Pennsylvania community. Commend borough officials, the environmental committee, community organizers, volunteers, and residents who collaboration made this achievement possible. Thank you. In witness, I have here to seal this, the 6th day of July, Robert Pomasino. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. I could have read that, but I thought since Wayne already said that, send it one again. But I would say this, I live in the community and we are all blessed to be here. Congratulate you on all the hard work you did, but I also want to offer to GAA my expertise in ball fields. I am former director of public works, assistant director in the city of Pittsburgh, and obviously the director of Collier Township. I know what these fields mean to the community. My youngest son was blessed to play on these fields for about 6 years. So if they decide to put some type of group together, if they would like to include me, I'll be honored, just so you know, because I know what it did for my youngest son, and it is a great community. So thank you very much.
What's the experience with turfing the fields?
Well, they're doing that right now in Collier Township. Like the gentleman said, the president, you know, I did that for a long time, shooting the greens. It's like a Band-Aid, because once it rains, a lot of these coaches, they throw on this dry right and all that, because they want to get the games in. But long-term, to keep up with the good community, the higher end communities, I believe in turf. We have a great public works department here. There's some training that goes on. There is some equipment that's needed, but there's grant money out there. I do know that the park is interested in turfing the big field, maybe some collaboration with them, because when I talked to one of their board members, they said if it goes well, they would look to maybe absorb some of the costs for the second large field down there, which where the high school team could play. So I think an open conversation, transparency, leading for that, but mainly listening to the guys that are coaching the kids every day. I did that all my life. I have 3 boys. You know, a lot of these coaches, they come and go when their kids are gone, but then you have people that stay involved in the association, people that care. So I would offer anything that I can do, along with my expertise in the fields for any kind of meetings. I'll be at the tournament this weekend, so look forward to meeting all the new guys. I'm one of the older guys, obviously. So anything I can do for the community, I'm all in there. I appreciate you guys inviting me tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's do some photos here. So
We'd love to have council in there, and I also just want to say your all's podium's the best.
Sure.
You know, I know you. I used to work for the city. I knew I recognized you. I used to work on the beach field. I knew you.
Yeah.
And that's like that one happened. Yeah, I've got signs. You guys want to help hold the signs? I'm gonna shoot. Got one of them? Pictures. You guys want that one? And then, you two want to hold the certificate? I'll stand off.
We need a balance.
Don't cover your brother.
So if you don't want to be in the background, yep.
I'm taking them on 2 photos. One.
and then why don't we get along with the Audubon Society Burrtown Committee, just the committee? That way.
You worked where? Up at the beach. I knew I recognized you. We were complaining about the plastic bags there.
There we go, we got it.
Good to see you, Bob.
Yeah.
Thanks all. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
We just, I don't know, Clark, I think they just swapped. The presentation was supposed to be before. And I'm like, what is she? I don't know what any of this is. So this is. And we have to read. If it says on they propose to, so I just read how my names. Okay.
Oh, wow, you're so sorry. Yeah, but you got prior.
See those? Nope.
No, it says a plus.
Oh, okay, good stuff.
Okay, there we go now.
Yeah, much better, thank you.
So I want to congratulate the Borough Town Committee. I want to especially congratulate Lisa Kansky for taking the lead and getting so much done. Such a short amount of time, pretty impressive, and I really look forward to all the great stuff that's going to happen in Green Tree and our green spaces. I like that it's the plants, the bird, the animals, and the people. Living in harmony in our space. I can't wait. That's great. All right, up next, we have the mayor's report. Mayor Shank.
Okay, thank you. First, the World Cup's tonight, so hopefully it's a short meeting at 8 o'clock. You guys like something forward in that.
You're great.
Right, thank you. So in regard to the 250th anniversary of the country, the way I realized how short a period that was, someone was born in 1775. I know it was 1776, but for my arithmetic, if someone was born in 1775 and they lived to 85 years old, that would take you to 1860. If someone was born in 1860 and lived for 85 years old, that would take you to 1945. If someone was born in 1945, today they'd be 81 years old. So that's only the lifetime of 3 people. I mean, if you look at that way, an 85-year-old, an 85-year-old, and an 81-year-old. So we are a young country. We're still growing, and hopefully we continue to grow. I've done a couple things this last month. I attended the solicitor interviews on June 8th and June 15th. I believe the council tonight is going to vote on one. We had 3 impressive law firms that applied to be borough solicitor. Current solicitor's law firm didn't apply. So we thank you for all your help. So we will be having, I believe, a new solicitor for our next meeting. In regard to the other thing, I stopped by the summer rec program one day. I just stopped by to see all the kids, see all the counselors, Jen Matthew, and everyone's doing a great job there. So I was very impressed. There were different stations. People were organized all over the field and playing at different places. So that was very good. I had my mayor's office hours on June 6th. Next year on June 14th, Sunday, June 14th. Was it the rec board or the rec committee that sponsored that?
Same thing.
Excuse me?
It's the same thing.
Okay.
Park board.
The recreation board, yeah. Right, recreation board sponsored that, but it was a nice event. The firemen cooked the hot dogs and hamburgers and everything. The American Legion was there, so it was a dinner on Sunday, June 4th. I attended. On July 4th, I did attend the pool event. When I left at 2 o'clock, there were already 515 people. I asked how many people, they were counting and clicking in as it came in. So 515, so I'm sure there were a lot more. Could have been 600-700 by the time that was done. So we again thank the rec board and Jen Matthew for putting off that event. It was very well participated. In regard to speed humps, on School Street. I think that's gonna be reported later, but I did prepare a survey several weeks ago to send out to School Street residents. I think it's in the process of being sent out. Or traffic engineer Wooster suggested that we do a survey, ask the people that actually on the street whether they're up for speed humps or not. So that survey, I believe, will be going out very shortly. In coming up, a meeting I have on July 8th, at a telephone meeting. It's with, Culture, Kulture City, in regard to neurodiversity and sensory inclusive training for police officers. They've given me a quote, how much it would cost to do video training. They've given me some literature. So, anyhow, I feel better, in person instead of going back and forth. So anyhow, I couldn't schedule before today's meeting. So I will have a meeting on July 8th in regard to such training for police officers. And hopefully that can be arranged in the near future. Next, I have a meeting on July 9th, coming up Thursday with David Ray and Greg Wilson in regard to the Point Park. They gave us a counter proposal, and we want to discuss their counter proposal with them on July 9th. I know GAA is here. We gave them a copy of the original what we sent to Point Park, and the school board. Chris Grassley's here, so we're trying to keep all the players involved, the school board, the GAA. So after we have this meeting, we will get back to you. We might have another meeting after that, but anyhow, we have to narrow down the issues. So I thought it best the three of us would initially meet with Point Park on July 9th. Dave Ray's gonna attend by video. I'll be there in person. It's gonna be, and Greg will be there in person. And Point Park representatives will be there in person. Next, on Friday, July 17th, really don't wanna watch the soccer game, do I? But anyway, Friday, July 17th, at Clearview has a grand opening. That's where Vincent's Pizza used to be. So it's at 10:15. So I would try to attend that. I think some council members are also going to try to attend. Next, St. Rayfield of Archangel Parish, they're holding a community event on July 9th, 10th, and 11th at St. Simon and Jude. That's just a good community event. So if you have any free time, that might be a good event to go to and make some contact. I looked at the police budget, moving on. The overtime budget is $155,000. That was budgeted for 2026. $155,000 year to date. Year to date was a little under $20,000. So that's 13% spent to date. So we're doing well on overtime. Sometimes council, other people have questions about the overtime compared to what was budgeted. We're at 20,000, we're way under what was budgeted, and it's 13%. So congratulate the police department on not having any injuries and few call-offs to keep the overtime so low. In regard to the DCPD, police department, we applied for drones. Drones is the newest thing. In case we have a child missing, in case we have somebody at large in the community. So it was the last minute. We found out about this. I thought I was going to announce today that we applied for it, but not only am I going to announce we applied for it, but it's been awarded. So close to $100,000 on drones. We won't have to pay anything for that. And we would get some training in that and would use them in situations that I indicated, in case it's a lost child, or in case somebody's loose in the community that we're trying to look for. In regard to next item here, is in regard to vacant houses. There are a number of vacant houses in the community. I thank Greg Wilson. He's arranged to have grass cut. There's a vacant house next to me on Greenwich Lane. The grass was cut recently. So we've got independent contractors, I believe it's a lawn service to cut some of that. So if you have if you know of a vacant house, if you're not cutting the grass, the borough, we relate the house. We're trying to get the money back when the house is sold. But anyhow, we're working on that. Next, a member of the fire department mentioned to me that in the rest lounge room of the fire department, maybe Greg already knows that the air conditioning is not working that well. So if we could look into that air conditioning into the rest lounge area of that room. In regard to the planning commission, they've been working real hard. They did a survey on the deer. So there's gonna be an ordinance proposed tonight, but they put the survey in the newsletter and they summarized the results for council in an email. They've also made a recommendation regarding tobacco, smoke, and vapor shop ordinance. They did a lot of work on the deer. They did a lot of work on the tobacco, smoke, and vapor shop. Next, in regards to the police department report, they used the 18 twice last month on mental health issues. So our association with the mental health, with the 18 is working out. On two separate occasions, they called in the 18 after they made sure it's at their discretion, totally the police discretion when they call them in. They have to make sure that the scene is safe. But on 2 occasions, they thought the scene was safe and called them in. 2 other things, Officer Frederick, he's a little over halfway in the training for accident reconstruction. So we're gonna get an accident reconstructionist that's gonna help when you have an accident to have that kind of training. So he's volunteered to go to that. And then Officer Bocci attended a medical marijuana workshop, which included medical marijuana, vape shops, people maybe are just have paraphernalia and correct criminal charges with violations. So I will get from him if you got any literature on those subjects and circulate that literature, if any literature available. In regard to speed signs, I noticed that Mr. Wilson has ordered 2 speed signs. We have the post, they would put them up. It would say what your speed is, whether you're going 25 miles per hour or whatever. We did have one. We've got the battery sport and it's up on Dale Street right now. It's about halfway up Dale Street. It says what the speed is. But we're hoping to get 2 more. They're movable on these posts and we can put them in other places in the borough. Mr. Wilson, he also prepared an email explaining, which I knew, and which I think a lot of members on council knew, and a lot of members of the public know, but Pennsylvania is one, if not the only state that doesn't have radar for local police department. The state police have radar and they can give tickets for 5 miles per hour, 5 miles or above. Local police officers, it has to be 10 miles per hour or above, and they can't use radar. So Mr. Wilson suggested, and so do I, contact the local officials. That's the best way to do it. Municipal officials have been contacting the legislature to try to get radar in Pennsylvania. It hasn't come about. So maybe if people write to try to get that radar, then we can issue tickets for 5 miles instead of 10 miles above. Also, local police departments in Pennsylvania can't use cameras. They use cameras a lot of places. We don't have that capability. So our hands, I mean, I'm not saying they're completely tied, not making any excuses, but the police department don't have those tools that are at the use of their discretion, which does not help the situation in regard to traffic enforcement. Looking here, going to, I think that was, oh yeah, about that. Comment about the police policies. In regard to the police policies, I remain, I haven't changed my opinion, that the police policies, police chief and attorneys have published policies, have recommended policies. Supreme Court has issued decisions, Third Circuit Court of Appeals has issued decisions, and based on these, based on the court decision, based on attorneys, based on police chiefs, there's recommended policies and that the police department would like to adopt. I am, in regard to transparency, that's my recommendation, it will be my recommendation that council, once you're passed, make these policies available to the public without a right to know request. So if somebody wants to come in to the borough, look at a police policy without a right to no request after appropriate. If any redactions are necessary, they can look at the policies. And after the policies are passed, if any citizens has the experience, training, and wherewithal to look at the policies and make any recommendations, council the next month, if it's a good recommendation, we can update the policy. So, so the bottom line is, I mean, council doesn't seek input from the citizens on every contract we enter, on everything. So sometimes you have to depend on the experts, but we would make them public, with the necessary redactions, and we would be open, my recommendation, open to changes in those policies. So we're not ignoring the public. That's a halfway compromise. Sometimes going back to the 250, sometimes I think there's too extreme on both sides nowadays. I think that's an appropriate compromise. End of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, so we're gonna change up the agenda in terms of the order of the committee reports, starting with Mr. Panza, your community assets and integration. Please.
Thank you. My first item of business is to take care of the item of business, which is, ordinance number 1922. It's Environmental Resources Advisory Committee. I'd like to make a motion that we pass ordinance 1922, amending section 14, subchapter 8 of the Green Tree Borough Code to establish the purpose, mission, and membership of the Environmental Resource Advisory Committee.
And second.
We have a motion and a second.
Ron, you just want to explain it a little bit so people understand.
We've always had, a environmental group. It was called SEED at one point, but in our charter, we had room for the environmental committee, the nature committee, where we are now just officially reorganizing the committee's name with the new members so that they have the authority to enact official environmental business on behalf of the borough, basically. So.
Well, it's formalizing Borough as the environmental committee, correct?
Correct.
Not individual members of that committee.
Of the committee, yes. So, we have a motion and a second. You want to ask for a roll call?
Are there any other comments?
No.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Can we get a roll call, Cam, or?
Yes, for an ordinance, yes.
Okay. Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Ms. Caskey,
Yes.
Ms. Martorella,
Yes.
Mr. Ray.
Hey, congratulations to the Bird Time / Environmental Committee. Thank you for all your work. Okay, so now, the main part of my agenda tonight is a discussion on the ball field. Right before the meeting, I had a discussion with Mr. Ray, a small discussion. Mr. Ray was saying, it's been 6 months that the new council is here. And he would like to see some things getting actually, instead of just being talked about, but getting done, make some accomplishments. Well, we've been talking about taking care of these fields for at least 20-some years. And we keep putting Band-Aids on the fields. And, it's time that we either do something and really fix the fields, or give the Green Tree Athletic Association a very high raise in cost of living increase for their pay that they receive for maintaining the fields. So, we really should, it's really time that we do something with these fields. So there's 3 options. Option number 1 is basically to replace the dirt on the field with some very good new dirt. And it seems like the average cost per field is $30,000. So that would be a $60,000 fix. But we have done this in the past.
How often does that happen?
And I honestly think we did this about 8 to 10 years ago.
So it's 60,000 every 8 to 10 years. But you would have to continually do this.
Well, I mean, but it was bad after a couple years, you know, I mean, one major storm and it,
That's for 2 fields though, just 2 fields?
yeah, 60,000 for
Not,
2 fields.
not weekend, no.
Now, so then option number 2, if it was a perfect world and, if Green Tree had Green Tree money trees, we could turf both Hemlock 1 and Hemlock 2. The bids came back at only 600,000 per field. And the full build estimates were also where this includes everything, like the preparation of the ground prior to the turfing. So a happy median.
Wait, Ron, sorry, is that the infield and the outfield, the
Yes,
600,000?
600,000 per field.
So 1.2 million.
1.2 million. But see, I'll explain also the difference between, we had 2 estimates. We had AstroTurf and we have 10K. 10K is much more thorough, where their bids not only include just turfing the field, but all the preparation work, the removal of the dirt, AstroTurf gave us estimates to turf the field. Like basic, there's a lot of exclusions where removing the dirt, not touching the,
Preparation before the AstroTurf goes down.
was not included in their bid, but it was much cheaper. So, but anyways,
What was the bid?
their bid was actually 500,000 per field.
I have a question.
Per field.
Who put out the RFP for these bids? Is this coming from GAA or is this something the borough did? Is this something that went through LSSC?
I asked for one bid, and then the GAA asked for another bid. So we had
Do
two.
we have our engineers spec it out or we just kind of?
Oh, this is just preliminary discussion. I don't expect us to vote tonight to spend $1.2 million.
So what is your ask? What are we, what's the discussion? Because
Well, what the discussion is, I was gonna say the happy medium, which is throwing out both those first 2 options, is the infield is where we have the most trouble, as everyone from the GAA would admit. So what a happy medium would be to turf both infields of Hemlock 1 and Hemlock 2. And that we're looking at a cost of, with AstroTurf, 260,000, and that's for both fields. So what we would like to do is have the council say, look, maybe this isn't a waste of money, this is a necessity. I mean, the volunteers from GAA, how many times do we expect them to grade those fields and maintain it? All the work Public Works put into the fields. How many days do we lose in chances to play games? And I remember, I'm very old, but I remember when I was young and having a baseball game canceled because there was a big puddle in the field really ruined an 8-year-old's day back then, and I'm sure it does today. So I think the GAA deserves baseball fields with the infield, and I would like to do everything we possibly can to help obtain this objective.
So Ron, I think what your committee should do is do some sort of cost benefit analysis. I appreciate Mr. Garrison's remarks in the beginning. There's a lot of costs, direct and indirect costs associated with maintaining the fields. I think if we have that data black and white, so that we can make an informed decision, I think that might be the best path forward. Because I would agree that it does cost to maintain it's both in time and money. So, but I feel like we don't have those exact numbers yet.
Mr. Ray, when tonight we were just looking for the initial, let's get going on getting information, having the engineer spec this on. You know, we just wanted council's overall approval to let us get started in this direction.
Can we also take a look at, as Mr. Palmasina mentioned, grant funding for
Yes.
some of this project?
Yes.
Because clearly, like, this is a budget line item that's not in our current budget. It would have to probably be pushed to 2027. But if there's grant funding available, we could offset some of that too.
Yeah, and Ms. Schwartz, of course, we are realistic that this is something to look at for, 2027. But we have to start.
Is there a lot of projects that are falling under your committee, some sort of prioritization of those projects along with the costs?
Yes, yes, and as I said though, if this is one I feel that should be fit in, if possible, which I'm sure we can.
Ron, was it $280,000? I mean, I know it's preliminary for both infills.
Yes, yes,
All together,
yes,
not individual.
no, all together.
I mean, clearly we have to have multiple bids on that.
And then, just real quick, I know it's, we really don't take citizens' comments now, but we have all these GAA, we have several GAA people here. Who could,
Mr. Mayor, I would suggest that, that this could turn into a workshop meeting pretty quick if we start asking for feedback and ideas on how to move forward.
Okay, I would,
I think, Ron,
I would suggest then that, if they stay around, if some of the members here stay around to the end of the meeting, I'd like to discuss it with them or any other council members. Maybe that's the best way to handle them.
well, then I think, maybe a workshop meeting in August where we just have a dedicated meeting to the fields, so we can dive into this.
You know what, Mr. Ray, I think that would be the best idea. We have like the second the second Monday in August, have just a whole meeting dedicated to what we're going to do with the fields. Maybe we can,
We'll work with you and GAA, coordinate that meeting date so that everybody's there and we'll just dive deep into it. Mr. Pants, that'll give you enough time to collect the data if you need.
yes, the additional data.
Okay.
Only because I will tell you that, see, the two bids, as you said, I'm not an engineer, Dave. I don't know if you didn't know that or not, but I'm not an engineer. So, I mean, the two bids are different, but of course, that's because like the one bid is so much more intensive in the removal of the dirt, the removal of the fences. And so we need someone to analyze which is the better of the bids. So, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. That is the end of my committee. Go USA Soccer. Thank you.
Mr. Allen, finance administrator.
Okay. All right, so my chair report is brief this week because of how much I have on the agenda. So since last month, just an update on our budget. The general fund has continued to move, obviously in a positive direction. Revenues are now at 4.23 million, or about 59% of our budget, while expenditures are at 3.12 million, or about 43% of our budget. That leaves us with a positive year-to-date balance of just a little over $1.1 million. The biggest move from month to month was our local tax revenue, especially our business privilege tax and earned income tax. We're also starting to see seasonal activity show up, including pool revenue and summer recreation expenses. Overall, we are luckily in a very stable position. Spending has increased as expected for summer operations, but revenues are still tracking ahead of our expenditure. We will continue to keep an eye on the few lines that are running high, which are our de-icing supplies, which we knew was going to happen because of our winter, and some of the pool-related expenses. But at this point, the general fund remains very healthy. Also, I'd like to add that I was also at the 4th of July picnic this weekend. And I have to commend our lifeguards. There were 2 saves while I was there. Well, one right before I got there. And as a lifeguard, previously, I kind of ran the course that most kids do in Green Tree. I started as a volunteer at Green Tree Rec, became a employee at Green Tree Rec, and then became a lifeguard at Green Tree Pool. It was incredible to watch. Our lifeguards and our team that we have on our pool is beyond incredible. When I saw all of them running over and, saving, there was actually a child that, came down the slide and couldn't swim. And they went and grabbed them, they were startled, and it was, every guard did it. They went in, they jumped in, they were blowing the whistle, they got the area cleared. It was such a cool thing to see. And I'm sure it would be cool to see, even if you weren't a prior lifeguard, but it was really, really cool to see as a prior lifeguard of our pool. Enough about that, back to the boring numbers. I move to ratify the actions of the borough manager in paying the June 2026 invoices from the general fund totaling $26,842.93. Our payroll account totaling $301,654.30. Educational Service Agency Fund totaling $3,653.09. The credit card for March 2026 totaling $5,113.56. And the credit card for April 2026 totaling $10,601.50.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I move to approve sorry.
No, you guys.
Okay, I move to approve payment of the July 2026 invoices from the general fund totaling $169,240.93. The storm sewer fund totaling $7,643.61, and the sanitary sewer fund totaling $39,726.26, and the capital projects fund totaling $524,531.81. And the fire department apparatus fund totaling $116,500.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Next, I move that we enter into the agreement for NLX to be the vendor for the Western PA Energy Consortium, of which the borough is a member by memorandum of understanding.
Okay.
Second, any comments or any more detail here, Mr. Allen?
Mr. Wilson should probably be better.
The borough is a member of the Western Pennsylvania Energy Consortium, which includes most municipalities in this general area. They buy their energy at a discounted rate from a supplier, and the borough is in that memorandum through 2029. The consortium has chosen NLX Advisory Services to be its contractor, and that contract will expire March 31st of this year. It was set to expire, and so it will continue throughout the term as set by Western Pennsylvania.
Thank you. Okay, wait, motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes, the motion passes.
Okay, and I'm gonna go tear up the names. I move that we appoint Gatons to Cherry and Nicholas, EC, as borough solicitor.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second. We received we interviewed 4 law firms for solicitor position. And I just wanted to add that, like, that it was earlier there. Solicitor, first current solicitor's firm did not apply. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? That motion passes.
Okay, I move that we designate the Pittsburgh Post Gazette as the Borough of Green Tree's newspaper of general circulation.
Second.
Yes.
Motion and a second.
So it's because the Post Gazette is back in operation.
Is it cheaper? Not by much, but yes, it's a little bit cheaper.
Oh, and I'm sorry, you guys break out there for.
I asked if it was any cheaper. And then my next question is it available anywhere in the borough of Green Tree?
It's on my front lawn.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's distributed in Green Tree,
Okay.
Yeah.
Great,
and it's available at the VP.
fantastic.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion passes.
Okay, I move that we advertise for the RFP for independent auditing services.
Second.
Second, any comments? So this initiates the RFP process for selecting firms to do our audits.
And just to clarify, that'll be for the fiscal years 2026, 2027, and 2028.
It's a 3-year.
Right.
Any other comments?
Yep.
Yep, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed?
There was no second.
Oh,
I
seconded
yeah.
it. I did.
Yeah, there was.
So was it raised on?
Very vivacious second.
I was very excited
Yeah.
about it on it.
Okay.
Mr. Allen, anything else?
I have one more thing that I missed on my report, in regards to, there have been several questions about the Oktoberfest Square account. Fortunately, I was able to speak to a representative at Square, and was able to get some information because oddly enough, when you set up a Square account with the same business information, they tend to give you information about the previous Square account. So with that being said, the account was closed. All of the money that was debited into the account was directly debited to the Green Tree Borough account, and there were no, there was nothing that was in arrears. So fortunately, everything was done, I guess, the best that it could have been done. I can report that the new Square account is put into the Green Tree Borough name. We are working on a new bank account for Oktoberfest, so we will have the budget information. We will have line items for everything, which kind of wasn't something that was done in the past. I mean, there was individual information that was held for Oktoberfest, but never really broken down the way that I'm now breaking it down to make sure that we are being fiscally responsible with everything we're doing for any of these events. So with that out of the way, now we can move forward with the new Square account as well as all of the new information that we've gathered. And I'm hoping within the next several months to be able to transition that credit card system into regular borough operations. I would love to be able to take Apple Pay at our pool. I would love to be able to pay for pavilions and things like that with a credit card or with Apple Pay. Because right now, the system that we have in place is a check that we have to wait to have sent back to someone that has reserved something, whereas instead we could just release a hold. So it's a very inundated process that we have right now, and I'm hoping that we can update that and make it much easier in the future. So that is the end of my report.
Great, thank you, Mr. Allen. Ms. Caskey, Public Safety.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee met on June 29th at 7 p.m. with the borough manager in attendance also. No residents attended the meeting. With the summer heat, residents are encouraged to utilize the option of the library or the borough building to stay cool if needed. The committee discussed traffic calming issues on School Street, Dale, and Oakville Drive. And the mayor discussed some of what's being done as well. Police policies are still waiting for information about the changes made to policies before our committee can begin the process of reviewing them. There is currently limited information and lack of communication about the changes in the policies thus far, and so it has become my firm belief that we should post the policy updates on pause until a new chief of police is hired and has an opportunity to review the proposed policy updates. I have been accused of slow walking the policies. However,
I reject that narrative, sticking to my belief that wisdom calls us to know what the changes are before we can begin to review or vote to approve the proposed policy changes. Additionally, there is no procedure or resources provided to our committee for a review that includes any kind of resident input or support for those of us who have no experience with the legal ramifications of these policy changes. Other communities around us have had extensive discussion, collaboration, and thorough review of police policy changes before putting them to a vote. And I support a similar robust process as we make changes in our policing policies. This is something that I feel would be perfect to have an incoming police chief be involved with as soon as possible after he is hired. I'm ready to move forward with updating police policies at the earliest time we wisely can, wisely being the key word. Finally, the committee decided to postpone voting for the posting of the chief of police position, which will be elaborated on in the next agenda item after this report. I want to extend my gratitude to Mr. Wilson for all his efforts this past month. He really hit the ground running and has been very busy addressing code enforcement issues actively and looking to find solutions to issues that have been ongoing. Everyone, as always, is welcome to join us at our next Public Safety Committee meeting, when we will meet at 7 p.m. on the fourth Monday, which falls on July 27th this month. This concludes my public safety report. And if it's okay, Mr. President, I would like to open the discussion that's next on the agenda.
Yes, good.
As expressed at the last council meeting, council met in executive session to discuss the chief of police position that has remained vacant and not filled for a number of years. I prepared data and information that I had been carefully gathering since my appointment to council, and I made a case for immediately picking up the hiring process before it was left off in the fall of last year. Mr. Wilson has offered to do more research for us in order for us to make the most informed decision possible, and he has committed to doing that in the month of July. So though we tabled this conversation last meeting to be voted on here at this July meeting, this was stated by several members of council as shown in the minutes of last month's meeting, the Public Safety Committee determined that waiting until Mr. Wilson has time to gather some more data for us is the best course of action in light of the fact that it is this committee's desire to work together with all members of council in hopes of coming to a decision that everyone can support. Just because we might have the votes to force the advertising of the police chief position doesn't mean it's right for us to push for it, especially if it feels that other members of council are reasonably asking for more data that can be provided in a short period of time. Waiting a few weeks for the possibility of more insight and clarity in this matter feels worth it to me and the committee as well. I would like to open the floor for discussion of this matter or any questions others may have.
Well, you covered that pretty well, I have to tell you, so.
You are on my committee.
No, I'm just saying that, though, there's not much more to add to that. You explained everything.
I guess I did have a question, and I know Emily, I think we even had the same discussions to ask the solicitor. We don't have, is it true that we don't have to vote to advertise or hire for an open position? Like, we don't have to go to a vote. Like, it could just be decided we're gonna advertise, for instance, in 2 weeks. If we get the data and decide, yes, this is the right thing, we don't have to wait for a meeting and vote to advertise. We could just do that.
Given the nature of the position and the dynamic that has been revolving around this, I would advise you to take a vote to advertise anything that.
I just was trying to remember if we, and I don't remember this, David, as long as we, once, did we vote when we advertised last time, or was that just something we decided and went forward with? I couldn't remember. Exactly.
Well, yeah, we had to vote because we hired.
No, I'm talking about when we did
Advertise
to put the job description up. I didn't think.
Yeah, because, no, but we had to pay, we paid the chief.
We didn't vote to pay, but if we're not paying someone to do it, that was how you fund. I was just.
No, I'm saying, I think we voted because we hired the chief of police, so.
I just couldn't recall the exact process on that one.
I don't know how who would make the decision to post the ad about the full Senate council.
I guess my thought is if we if we come to a consensus and we
In
say.
executive.
In executive session, if we come to a consensus and we decide, yes, let's do this.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that was my thought.
Yeah,
No, we can't make a decision. in
You
executive.
have to do that in public meeting.
I have a question with that. I don't know if I'm allowed to go back to ask, on your committee report, I had a question.
No.
No.
No, come back.
Can't do that. I know it's all the person in the world, you cannot do that. I know, I do that. I just have, Ron, you can't do that. I'll be like, all right, my question is done. Adina, you stated in your chair report that committees around us have had a public discussion on before posting and changing policies.
Councils, yeah.
On councils, can you, so this is like a two-part question, can you list the communities or provide examples of community around us that have done that? And was it policies, new policy revisions, or was the policy already in place and then they were revising it before having that discussion? So was it new or was it adjusting?
So one community near us, Mount Lebanon, within the last couple of years has done some like revamping. Yes, I think they were new. I think there were revisions. I looked at what they had done to kind of see what I was looking at as far as involving residents and was this something reasonable? I believe, I don't remember the names of the other ones, but there are several around that when they've had changes, they made a committee or, had a big process that went over time, that took some time.
Okay.
I had the same note, Kara, policy changes before go to council, which municipalities and what format did they use?
Yeah, so, I know Mount Lebanon had a committee. They had a separate committee that included some residents. If I'm understanding what I'm seeing on their website, they had a committee that was made up of people in addition to council members and, that participated in the process.
Do you know how that committee was formed? Was it? I'm just curious.
I'm not sure.
So
It was actually months ago that I researched that before I even started this process, so I'm sorry, I don't have all the details. Yeah. So, is there any more questions or discussion? I think for the record, I just want to, I want to say that I think it's very important that we put this to a vote next council meeting. So I would like to make the commitment that I'm planning to put this on the agenda for the August meeting. And we'll see what happens with it at that point, but I feel like it's important to move this forward. If there's no other discussion, I'm done. I'm cool.
And it's two separate things, correct? So there's a vote for policy changes. There's also a vote for a new police chief. Which one would you like?
We don't have, oh, the policies, we don't have any, we're very early in the process. We don't even have a list of what the changes are that were made.
But we do have to vote on that. At some point.
At some point.
For clarification, I didn't provide the changes that were made between the original Lexi pool and the updated Lexi pool policies.
Yes, there's an AI review of them, yes.
And we are gonna discuss that in our meeting. We haven't,
We got those a couple
we
days
just got
ago.
them like,
Okay.
yeah, we don't meet later.
Public Safety Committee would like to reach out to them and get answers for themselves, the capabilities of flexible, what they can and cannot do. We've been told that they don't have those features, so we just hear from the horse's mouth that address some of these concerns that you're not getting the information that you need.
I've now been told that I can't get the information I've requested. That I have to yeah.
I thought you said that tonight. You said that you've been asking for information you haven't gotten yet.
Yeah, I don't have a red line. I don't have, this is what's been changed. I don't have that. So I know there's been an AI thing that's been run that gives some comparison to some things, and I just got those a couple days ago. So our committee hasn't been able to look at it, but I'm not anywhere close to feeling comfortable putting anything to a vote.
Any more discussion on update regarding police chief vacancy?
I guess to clarify and answer your question, Mr. Allen, my my request is that and I intend to, if my committee agrees, we intend to put this on the agenda for a vote in August at the council meeting.
For the police.
For the police chief, not policies.
I just wanted to make sure
Yes.
which was coming first.
Thank you.
Just as a courtesy.
I would just say that you need to remember what was discussed in executive session also with regards to posting this chief position.
I thought we couldn't make any decisions, in executive session.
We didn't make any decisions, but we were, there was conversation in executive session that drives the answer to that question.
Okay.
The answer to what question?
Whether or not, when we should post it.
Yes.
Okay, so I just asked that we honor that request. And there was asked of us, and there was asked in executive session. If not, let's go back into executive session and have a conversation about that again.
Well, I know there was a discussion to postpone it in order to gather data. And so
That's not the only.
Oh.
Discuss.
Okay,
I think we should probably, once we have data, have an executive session about this. Do you agree, Mr. Rex?
Yeah, I want that.
can that be scheduled before the next meeting? Excuse me?
Yeah, absolutely. If you request the executive session, I will schedule the meeting within 48 hours.
Okay, my committee will request that meeting then.
Once we have the data.
Once we have the data.
Yeah.
Once you have the data, okay.
But
So let me
yes,
know.
once we have the data, but I'm saying we need to have that data in enough time to have an executive session before the next council meeting.
It's a courtesy to Mr. Wilson. Does she have enough time to get the requested information during the month of
Yes.
July?
Well, we talked about the
We shall see.
information in the last executive session.
So we're not making any promises.
I would just advise the other new solicitor sit in on this executive session. I wasn't in these sessions and I'm not sure what you're talking about and maybe pertinent to whether we're lawfully conducting this review or not. So I would advise the new solicitor sit in on this executive session.
Great.
I agree.
So just to be clear, Mr. Wilson is going to gather information and sometime before the next council meeting, we will get the new solicitor, have an executive session and discuss. Okay, perfect.
So, Ms. Caskey, if you can let me know when you get the information that we need, once you get that, we'll schedule the executive session. We'll pull in the new solicitor, probably ask him or her, I guess, him, if it's appropriate to have the executive session, right? Based on what we want to talk about, and then if so, we'll schedule as soon as possible before the next council meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Mr. Ray, you said I need, the information that I need. I'm not the one requesting the extra data. I feel I have enough information to make the decision. It's other people that have requested the data. So at this point, I'm happy, I don't know how to move forward with this.
I think that we should make have an executive session after this meeting to clarify what we're talking about. Then there's some confusion.
I agree.
Okay,
Mr. Wilson, in the last executive session, Mr. Wilson stating notes, he knows exactly
Yes,
what information is needed.
I think that we need to quickly have an executive session to remind the rest of council what that is. I think there's some confusion. Just like, yes.
We can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that immediately.
Perfect.
thank you. Okay, that concludes, I think you have something, yes, the notice of award, Mr. Wilson.
Well, the mayor already stole that thunder, but, yeah, very nicely done by the Green Tree Borough Police Department in applying for a grant from PCD. And they were successful in obtaining $99,998, which is apparently a magic number. And that is for the new drones in part, as well as traffic safety equipment. And I think people are familiar with the DUI goggles that people wear. It also purchases carts to use for education in drunk driving that simulate what if you were actually drunk when driving the little cart. And so they'll be good tools for educating kids in our.
Mayor, will you find one or two officers that will like learn how to run the drones? If they get passes? That's. Well, we have a lot of that.
I want to go on the record and say I am open to posting the youth police job, late summer or the fall. So, with that said, I'm also a big that we should also pass the policies before we hire a new chief. Our current policies in the current state, the way they are physically in a binder or to be greatly improved. As a new chief, I think coming in, having a new set of policies that have been updated, improved, I think that sets the stage for him or her to realize that it's going to be less of a burden to hit the ground running, not having to deal with updated policies. So I think we should do both. I think we should hire, I think we should post the job, but I also think that we should improve the policies. As the mayor said over and over again, just because we approve a policy doesn't mean it can't be changed. It can be changed, you have community input on those changes, you can post them publicly without requesting them, completely open to that transparency. So I want that to be stated for the record.
And to back Mr. Ray, with our track record of hiring a police chief, the new policies may need updated by the time we update the new policy. So I mean, I agree with Mr. Ray, we should really move on updating the policy.
And I'm open to so. Yeah, any other comments, Ms. Caskey, or anybody else around public safety issues?
Can we move on? Thank
This
you.
is what you all are waiting for, is public works and infrastructure, right? We're here for it. Okay, so. We had our first committee meeting on June 18th. It was virtual because we were, as you can see, on nice new carpet here. So we had a virtual meeting. It was just myself, our committee, and Mr. Wilson attended. Our next meeting is going to be Thursday, July 16th at 7 p.m. It will be virtual. Is it July 16th? Is it Thursday? No, Thursday of the month.
Second Thursday.
Second Thursday of the month. Okay, so it is this Thursday. Well, I mean, don't you guys want to come here every Thursday? So it is Thursday, July 9th at 7 p.m. It will be here and virtual. So we'll be here if anybody has questions, would like to attend, or has questions about anything happening within public works and infrastructure, please feel free to log on online. We'll have that available to you, or in person. We met as Mr. Wilson, myself, LSSE and Public Works met on Monday, June 29th, just for our regular monthly meeting to go through everything that is all the changes and all of the infrastructure and public works things that are happening in Green Tree, which is a lot, but super exciting that this week's report is much shorter than it has been in the previous months. So excited for that, and I know that you're waiting to move on. So the first thing is going to be just a recap of what we've discussed is the street paving. Street paving is going to be started on July 8th through the 11th. Youngblood Paving is going to be working Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays if they need it. So you can have street paving, possibly on Saturdays if with rain and weather and things happening like that, that can happen. So please know that. The projects that we started now, this upcoming month are going to be Sheldon, Rainey, and Carroll Place. So those are the three streets that are going to start paving. Right, I think we have questions after every section. The next part, Green Tree Road sidewalks. The Borough Public Works Superintendent was able to collect all of the required, application forms, except one of them to be submitted to PennDOT to obtain the highway permits to start the next construction phase from Potomac to Green Ridge on the reconstruction of the sidewalks. So we're waiting on that one to start. Building improvements, we have a new carpet is all done here at library, so that is now complete, and you'll see that we're gonna motion to make that payment coming up in the agenda. There's also the PennDOT right-of-way proposal, we'll be discussing that, but PennDOT has provided a right-of-way acquisition about 130 square feet from the borough for the installation of an overhead sign. So, Mr. Stanton is here in case anyone has questions, we can for council, we'll talk about that through here as well. There's supposed to be minimal impact of the park operations or on the borough real estate to have that sign be installed. Trumbull Drive Bridge, one of these days this will be off this agenda. The Trumbull Drive Bridge replacement project is expected to be put out to bid in October, with construction taking place in 2027. You heard it here first, folks, okay, 2027. As that project moves forward, one of the required construction easements is providing, we're gonna talk about this evening for consideration as well. Pole improvement, so this is our hot button item. We have obtained grants for $415,000 for improvements to the concession stand and the bathrooms, and another $500 for repair and upgrades to the pole itself. So LSSE has been working through the different options that was discussed with council on April 22nd. And they're gonna be providing concepts for consideration in the August meeting. I have requested that signs be posted as well at the pool to alert pool patrons that, hey, we'll be talking about the pool, come to the August meeting in case you want to see what's happening and have public comment or discussion as well. So that's gonna be happening in August with,
Posting things like poll about the.
for patrons, then they know. So excited. So Mr. Stanton will be there to discuss the options and then in case there's public comment, but so that's the start of our discussion for the poll. Well, how short though? Yeah, record time. All right. So that was our chair report. First, motion is going to be for PennDOT right-of-way acquisition for signage replacement. I move that we accept the easement agreement as presented by PennDOT and enable the borough manager to execute the same. Anybody have any questions about that?
Second.
Second. Motion and second, any comments?
Nope.
So it's right up on, just say where it's located.
It's
Yeah.
actually at 978 Green Tree Road. If you wanted to GPS that, visit the site, but it's 130 square feet, which is exactly what they need in order.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Awesome. And the only other one is the Trumbull Drive Bridge easement acquisition. I move that we approve the easement acquisition as negotiated by the Keystone Acquisition Services in the amount of $10,057 and enable the borough manager to execute the same.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Anything else?
No, nothing else in my report. Are you shocked? Yes. That's it.
Okay, Mr. Novitz, absence, somebody was fill up community and employee engagement.
The council member, Novik, asked me to give a little bit of an update on the AV equipment. We did consult with our IT company and they provided another vendor to seek input from. So I have requested that vendor come here, view the space and provide some more information. In the interim, we also did buy an Owl, which is a device recorder. And so we have been troubleshooting that this afternoon and this evening. And it has, of course, several different settings. So we'll try to continue to work with that and see what works best as the short-term, less costly solution. Than the full revamp of the AV, which now I know you set some money aside, but that was a project in conjunction with the flooring. And so there isn't a lot of that. So we'll try to see what we can do to get some more input from people and a little more clarity as to exactly what we're looking for the items to be improved.
All right, well,
Okay.
All right,
Mr.
economic
Cassidy,
development.
Well, no, Ms. Cassidy or Mr. Allen, any other notes we got that committee?
No, I don't believe so. That's been the one thing at the top of the agenda.
Yeah, we should be honing in on the junior council person very soon. We're finalizing the application.
Any movement on that?
Community survey for what? I'm sorry, Mr. Rick.
I can actually speak to that.
Go ahead.
Councilmember Godovic had chatted with me a little bit about that. We're pulling together some questions that are gonna be pulled from other municipalities and surveys they've done to give council kind of an update of information that will also be something that the planning commission could potentially use. For
All right, Ms. Schwartz, economic development plan.
all right, the committee met on June 11th. It was just, the committee members and Wilson. We did set a date for our first, business forum. We're looking at August, July 29th at 8 a.m. here. It'll be at a breakfast event. We're going to invite all of the businesses in the Green Tree community to come and meet the new faces of Green Tree. That would be Mr. Wilson, our new code enforcement officer, our new public works director, possibly Lieutenant Ranigan as well. And just kind of give them a chance to get an update on what's going on in Green Tree and, you know, start to establish those relationships. And look at what we can talk about at future events. So we will be meeting this week on Thursday at 6 p.m. In person here. And we will be finalizing the invitation that will go out via mail to the businesses. And discussing some more details for the event. Probably just try and purchase some breakfast items from local businesses so that we can also support Green Tree while we invite our business community in. So that was our last meeting. We'll continue with that. That's pretty much what's going on with us right at this moment. We have a lot of other things that we would like to do, but this is our first step into engaging the business community of Green Tree. Next up on my list is the discussion, the results of the deer survey. The planning commission held a survey online and also in the Green Tree newsletter regarding the deer population in our community. They have provided an email, it's posted with the results. They had paper responses as well as online. It seemed that they had a majority decision on the fact that we do have a large deer population, that people do find destruction in their yards. They do feel that, you know, there are more deer than there have been in the past. Surprisingly, deer vehicle collision is a low number, which we are thankful for. Apparently our deer know how to cross the road, which is very, very important. But out of this survey, they worked on the ordinance that we are going to be putting in front of council this evening to prohibit the feeding of wild mammals and waterfowl. And that is one of the first steps that we can take in mitigating our deer populations. It is not a fix, it is a step in the right direction. There is no one thing we could do to stop the deer population in Green Tree, but we can start to take the steps forward to reduce the population and try and make people's yards a little less of a grazing ground for that. So I'll open the floor to council.
Yes, waterfowl, so that means no duck feeding. And we felt that was necessary.
Specifically Canadian geese,
Okay.
once they find a space that they like, they tend to come back and they bring their friends. So I know the first time I saw a Canadian goose on the field up at Aiken, I was told to immediately call, because once one comes, they all come. So, yeah, we don't wanna be putting out bread for the ducks. Things like that. But specifically, it's more about, salt licks, putting out feed for deer. People can still have their bird feeders, things like that. It's not, we're not saying don't feed the bird town birds, we want bird town birds. We're trying to not make the deer think that we're an all-you-can-eat buffet, compared to the next door neighbors, right? We wanna have them move into the wooded spaces and out of the yards and out of the neighborhood.
And am I understanding, because I wasn't here when the discussion started, but is it kind of thought that this is a process we can't really take more extreme measures to mitigate the deer until we show we've kind of done these things to sort of discourage them, and then we still see we have a problem, and then we could do further things?
I mean, I think that this is the first thing we could do that has any teeth.
Okay.
Obviously, there are more extreme choices, but that's a far way down.
Emily, I think you really summed it up. What you said is that if we don't try this first, rather than, that we need to at least try this first before we move on to more.
And we have a densely populated community. There's not a lot of areas that would allow for even bow hunting. I mean, like, we don't have the wide open spaces of Upper St. Clair or even Mount Lebanon in some areas that enable a lot of some of the more extreme mitigation. So this is a step we can take with the landscape that we currently have.
Yeah, I mean, two statistics from the planning commission, I think should be put on record. Approximately 76% of the respondents indicated that the deer population within the borough is too high. And the second is approximately 75% of the respondents opposed the feeding of deer. And then, I mean, this is not gonna be a fix by any means. I mean, I think we should do it. I mean, oppose it. It's gonna keep deer from congregating in certain yards. And they might hopefully eat more in the woods and, come out, to the yards and things. But we're gonna have the same number of deer. We're just trying to disperse them out of people's yards by this ordinance. It's my understanding. Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? We're all good? All right. I'm gonna discuss ordinance 1921, amending chapter 120, animals to provide the prohibition of feeding wild mammals and waterfowl. I move that we pass ordinance number 1921, amending chapter 120, animals, article 120.1, nuisance conditions prohibited of the Green Tree codified ordinances.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion?
I just want to thank the planning commission for all the hard work they did. They had a lot of data to compile and go through. They looked at ordinances from multiple municipalities that have tackled this and really put a lot of thought into making sure that they were covering the bases without excluding things that we knew our residents would want to continue to do, including feeding their wild birds and things like that. So thank you very much for all your hard work.
Any other comments? Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Ms. Caskey,
Yes.
Ms. Martorella,
Yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Mr. Ray.
Yes.
Also, the planning commission has been working on, a ordinance, a zoning amendment regarding vape shops in our community. That, has been drafted. Our solicitor has said that to the county, they have to review it and approve it before it can move any further. So it is in process. We're not sleeping on it, we are moving on it, but we have to follow the steps that are there, and the county is the next stage. So that's where we're at with that. And also to thank the planning commission for working very hard on that and very quickly, to address that issue. And that's the end of my report.
Okay, Ms. Schwartz, the I'll try to keep mine short here, so I want to take a moment to acknowledge about change that's taken place in the borough since the beginning of the year. That way, the new mix of council members and committees that are aligned with borough's current priorities and work in front of us. We've hired a new borough manager, we appointed a new solicitor tonight, hired a new public works director, added a building code enforcement officer, and brought additional administrative support staff. With all those changes, we're seeing a renewed level of employee engagement. I was out and about. One employee recently told me that they love coming to work now, and that says a lot. And really appreciate, all the adapting to the new changes, the staff, and coming together around better supporting Green Tree. So I want to thank all of our permanent and seasonal staff for the work they're doing, and every day they make Green Tree a great community. I'm not sure if Mary mentioned it, this is an August National Night Out, it's Tuesday, August 4th, from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Green Tree Volunteer Fire Department. Residents are invited to stop by, the members of the volunteer fire company, police, and up. There'll be an opportunity to tour the fire station, check out the emergency vehicles, and meet their first responders, serve our community. We have 2 nights at movie nights at Wilson Park coming up, one on June 11th, July 1 Stitch, and the other July 25th, which is Christmas vacation. There will be summer street sweeping July 13th through the 17th. Most of the residents are asked to avoid on-street parking during street sweeping if possible. And then next month, coming up in August, it's the Green Tree Senior Picnic. Some other things that we're working on, Mr. Wilson mentioned the community survey, the junior council person. There's some talks about maybe hopefully a relaunch of the Friday email. We continue to get requests to bring that back. I want to give a reminder about our guest policy pool. Our pool is open to non-residents. They can purchase a season pass. The residents can also bring non-resident guests. It's really important that residents who bring guests stay with their guests while they're at the pool. We've had some recent incidents where the resident leaves and guest stays. That's not good. Sometimes they're minors, which is just compounds the problem. They just want to be mindful of that. That would be the end of my report. So, Mr. Wilson, I'll hand it over to you.
I try to be a speed talker. First, I want to say congratulations to Public Works Craftsman 1, Stephen Wilharm, on the birth of his second child, son Nate Weston. That was at the end of June. Stephen has been, perhaps to his dismay, helping us out by bouncing back from the promotion he received back to being the maintenance custodian while that position has been vacant. Fortunately for Stephen and for the rest of us, I want to announce that Oliver Cassidy has been hired to fill the vacant maintenance custodian position, and he will be starting July 13th. So if you come to the borough, you'll see another fresh face, getting us closer to fully staffed. Without a doubt, though, a large chunk of my time this last month was spent on property maintenance and code issues, while the building code official / code enforcement officer position remains vacant. Last month, they sent over 59 letters from my office addressing tall grass, garden and refuse, trees, and even unregistered vehicles parked in driveways. Nearly all of those properties became compliant pretty quickly. Many have received thank you notes from my office, and the few that are the largest issues that are pretty well known by most people in town, those are either under contract for maintenance or were up for sheriff's sale today, with the exception of one that was pulled from the sheriff's sale. Obviously, that made hiring a building code official a top priority. With the next item on the agenda, I ask for council's consent in the hiring of BJ Glancy as the building code official code enforcement officer effective August 3rd with a starting salary of $65,998.40. If council would be so kind to adopt this request as shown on your agenda.
So,
No, we can't make it.
Oh, we can make a motion.
I move, can anybody make the motion? Okay, I move that we hire DJ Glancy as building code official / code enforcement officer effective August 3rd, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Second.
Yeah.
Motion and second, any comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the motion passes.
The next piece of housekeeping addresses the change in salary for the public works superintendent that was to have gone into effect on May 10th, increasing from 85,000 to 90,000. Obviously, with a lot of changes going on, that kind of fell through the cracks, unfortunately. Franco doesn't let cracks stay open for long and gets everything patched, so we will do our best to live up to his standard. But I would ask council to adopt ordinance 1923, which reflects this change with all other existing rates remaining the same for current employees. I would ask council to adopt the ordinance as provided.
I move that we pass ordinance 1923, setting wages and benefits for full-time borough.
Motion is second, any comments?
Just a quick question, this is an increase, it's with the budget, I'm guessing?
Yeah, it was part of his, hires.
It was
it was a
the
agreement.
full-time
Okay.
position.
It's part of the contract.
Can we roll call, please?
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Ms. Caskey,
Yes.
Ms. Martarella,
Yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Ray.
Yes.
Another piece of housekeeping is the adoption of resolution 1392, assigning me as the borough manager as the signatory to the PennDOT grant system. The first for Trumbull Street Bridge grant funded project, and the letter, the first is, the resolution, which is for the Trumbull Street Bridge grant project. And the second is a letter for the Green Tree Road sidewalk replacement grant. And I would ask council to adopt the resolution as provided.
I move that we adopt resolution 1392, authorizing the borough manager to execute agreements, contracts, and documents as required by the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, Engineering, and Construction Management.
Second.
Comments, questions? Can we roll call, please?
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Ms. Caskey,
Yes.
Ms. Martarella,
Yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Ray.
Yes.
Next is something that you are already familiar with, the DCD Strategic Management Planning Program, or STAMP. You previously selected a contractor and passed a resolution regarding the STAMP program. However, that process stalled with staff turnover. The new funding window is now October, and so with your permission to seek proposals from contractors now, we'll be in a good position to meet the deadline in advance of the October deadline for application. I would ask that you approve for our solicitation of requests for proposal for this professional service.
I move that we authorize soliciting an RFP for a consultant to perform the strategic management planning program for the borough with support, from DCED.
Second.
Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
And the last thing regarding me, but not on my list, I'm requesting approval from Borough Council for my attendance at the annual summit of the Pennsylvania Minnesota League, this year taking place in Hershey from October 6th to the 10th. A schedule of that has been provided to you.
I move that we approve the cost of attendance of the borough manager at the 2026 PA Municipal League Summit, October 6th and 2026.
I will second that motion.
Question, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
And finally, isn't every day the council gets a thank you note. So I wanted to include that in your packet. This is a thank you note to the members of the Recreation Committee for their dedication and help with the American Legion Post 823 for their Flag Day service this year. And Dan Gall, who's the commander of Post 823, said this is definitely the best Flag Day that the borough's ever done. So that's very nice to hear. That concludes my report to council.
Two very quick things here. That National Night Out, that's a Tuesday, August 4th. We have a meeting, or first Monday, August 3rd, so get another reminder of that National Night Out. And second, senior picnic, I believe it's August 9th. I think it's a Sunday. Anyhow, just so you're aware, Mr. Wilson, in the past, except for last year, which eventually was done, there's prizes purchased for the senior citizens. So just that you're aware of that. There's been a tradition. Jim Mathick does a great job. Senior citizens look forward to that picnic, and hopefully the borough's can be funding the prizes again.
Yep, Jen and I have already had a conversation about that over ice cream at the pool.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Wilson. Okay, at this time, anyone wishing to address borough related items be heard at this time?
Christine Short, 251 Park Edge. Christopher, thank you for looking into that square app. I know it's been 6 months. Appreciate that. I want to bring up the fields and I want to bring up the pool. Mr. Ray and Mr. Panza, you don't want to have what we had for almost 2 years regarding the polls. Make sure you guys, you folks, do everything right with this poll. But the concession stand money, this, that, I thought it was coming to the planning commission. We're still waiting on recommendations. We haven't gotten that yet, but if, you know, you guys, folks are doing something with this poll, make sure you do it right, because I sat through every single meeting. I sat through every workshop, and it was not pretty at all. As far as the fields go, I'm here for all recreation. I've been since my kids play on that field. I'm on the recreation board. I'm all here for the kids. Make sure we do it right, and make sure that we're getting the grants that we need, and not just, okay, let's just put this on. I'm all there for the GAA, and again, I brought up a couple years ago, when we have those tournaments, so say we tarp these fields, and we put artificial turf on those fields, and we start having tournaments over there. Other surrounding boroughs charge for those fields. I hope we do the same thing, because I did bring that up, previous council, just put it under the rug. But please, if we're doing anything for this poll and those fields over there, make sure we have all our I's dotted and T's crossed, because you really do not want this council go until 11 o'clock at night screaming and yelling at you guys. Thanks.
And we know to keep it 5 foot also.
Yeah, a lot of us were sitting where you were sitting, so we promised we would make sure. But half the reason we got them up here.
Hi, my name is Patricia Pompey. I live at 999 Glen, Quebec. I came tonight because we are some of the people that have been concerned about the deer population. You would not believe the amount of deer that are down on Glencoe Avenue in our yard. At times, I have counted at Christmas time and in winter time, laying in my backyard, 15. I had bucks and females, not just females. But the worst thing about it is, we've sprayed, we've done what we can, but they are destroying everything. They have eaten my plants down to the plastic, even with the stones. They've ripped the roots out. They're not afraid. They are multiplying like crazy. They come back every year, and they do bring their friends. And they're not afraid of you. You can go out there and you can yell at them, you know. But the other thing that's concerning me is on the corner lot. And when they get a sound like the, you would say the motorcycle say, when they gear it up, or a truck up on Green Tree Road, and they get scared, they jump out over our hedges in front of traffic. There are kids that come up that street. There are people that walk with their dogs. I'm concerned that someone's going to get hurt one of these days. I don't want it to happen on my property or from my property. But if they ever do, what you're doing, I appreciate, because you start. We have to start somewhere. But I don't know how it will really cut everything down, but it will start. And I'm grateful for that. I'm glad you're doing something and that people have spoken up. But if they ever need a yard that they need to use, I love animals, I love people, I mean, I'm just that type of a person. However, their deer population and actually even my neighbors, they have gotten ticks from the deer. My husband goes under our Christmas trees. They're eating they're actually pulling the pine off of the trees. They're not supposed to eat half the things they're eating, but they're eating everything. And then, of course, the little fellas and girls that come along, they taste everything that's out there. And they don't care what they eat, including our hedges, okay? Now, I know that might sound a little crazy, but we put a lot into our yard. We like to keep it well. I realize we've taken up the land for the animals and we're pushing them away, but they're really in the city here. I used to live in the country, so I know what they're like. But they never did what they're doing here, and it's because they have nowhere else to go. And someone is feeding them though, because they are big and fat, and they're not just getting it off of my greens and my yard. So keep up the good work. Please don't give up on it. Help us out. I'm spending a fortune with Davy Tree to spray everything, and they're still eating it. They're not afraid of nothing. They're immune to everything. But also the concern for safety, I think is very necessary. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Monk.
Jeff Natale, 895 Cherry Street. I just wanted to bring up a question concerning the vape shop ordinance. While this ordinance is being waited for the county or whoever we're waiting on, have we stopped all approvals for new vape shops in Green Tree? Have we done anything to make sure that what happened this last time doesn't happen again? I brought this up at the last meeting. We talked about the vape shop. We talked about the fact that we had misrepresentation from the owner of that property. Misrepresentation on what was going to go into that facility, the facility. And with that happening, the planning committee worked very hard to try to get this ordinance in place so that we can stop this from happening again. We have one right now, right across from the borough building, right across from the library, too close to a church. They're all of the things that we have in the ordinance. This current vape shop is breaking at this point. So my point is, let's not sit another 3 months waiting for this to happen. If there are applications coming up, we should at least be talking about it. We've talked about different areas where we'd like the vape shops to go, and maybe we can be steering them that way, but to just not drop this and let it sit until the ordinance comes back. The second thing would be on School Street. Last month at the meeting, I asked the exact same question as to when the speed humps were gonna go in. And what we heard was, we're gonna send out a survey. And what we're hearing today is, we're gonna send out a survey. Can we send the survey? By the time we get the speed bumps or speed humps or whatever we wanna call them in place on School Street, we're gonna be ready for school again. And the idea was to make that street a little safer for the children, for the school buses, for the stops. So I don't know why this is delayed or what's taking it so long, but whatever is in the way of it, we should alleviate it and make sure that we get School Street taken care of.
If I may, in regards to the vape shop ordinance, the idea that this is gonna take 3 months or longer is not true at all. As soon as the planning commission provided us with their recommendation, we drafted the ordinance. It's a zoning ordinance. The county has to approve all zoning ordinances that this borough passes. We present it to the county. The county will have it back to us within the next week or two. It'll be on the agenda for the August meeting. If anyone applies for to start a new vape shop, right now the ordinance, because it's being considered, they have to comply with that consideration. To my knowledge, nobody has applied for another vape shop. So But this council, has not dropped the ball on this by any means. This is just the way that government works, unfortunately. So, it is drafted, it is in the county's hands. It'll be on the agenda for your solicitor to present to you next meeting. Yep.
I think, Mr. Monty, you're referring to the pending ordinance doctrine. That's what you call the pending ordinance doctrine. If there's an ordinance out there, it's pending, someone can't sneak in, actually, I dealt with that 25 years ago on a strip joint in Homestead. I represented Homestead, and we kept out the strip joint based on the pending ordinance doctrine.
My question is whether the right people know that. I know that answer, but is the right person that signs the approval for the permit, do they know what we're talking about right now?
Hopefully, it's
I
this
think,
conversation.
yeah, I think Mr. Wilson is well aware of this issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was discussed in one of our very first meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Question.
Hi, Lisa Campsey for Robinson Road. I just wanted to mention that the first Birdtown workshop will be July 13th. Here at the Borough Building. And we have been awarded a $1,000 grant. As a borough. And the team has looked into, having Audubon come, so using some of that money. And doing a borough-wide workshops on living with white-tailed deer population. So what that would include is strategies, education, answering questions, in addition to the game commission came last year with Mr. Ray. And I think this would be a good complement for that, for our residents to get some strategies, for example, for ticks and things like that, or plants. We have lots of lists of deer resistant plants that they shy away from, and ways that we can live in Green Tree with the deer, because we know they're just going to be here. But we also support the ordinance that you passed this evening to not feed the wildlife. Can I ask the engineer a question? Do you mind? You don't have to, is that okay? Since we're here, and you don't have to have the answer right now, just if you could get for the committee, these two answers. One, the stream restoration project that is going on, I know it's a multi-phase project, and one of the focuses of that project is to have cleaner water in that stream. Can you give us a rough, very rough timeline of when we could potentially have, say we have cleaner water in that area in the future, as we look into our long-term plan for environmental decisions in the borough?
Yeah, the stream restoration program, in terms of the construction, it was recently completed. Part of that work included some planting. And it's, in terms of the state requirements for stream restoration and siltation reduction and nutrient reduction, it met those specific parameters. So the long and short of it, some of the vegetation associated with the growth be a couple months coming in, but that work has been completed.
Okay, great. So sooner rather than later,
Yes.
start planning some things in that area. And with that project, will any of the knotweed, the amazing amount of knotweed along that stream area, will any of that be addressed in that project?
Yeah, and that's a good point. The knotweed is an invasive species, and it's difficult to keep out of anything anywhere. It certainly wasn't designed to have that invasive species. There were native plants and shrubs that like the water that are around the restoration, but will there be knotweed eventually? Probably.
Okay, so that do you know what that huge, just the whole trail basically of all that knotweed, that will, after this project, it will still remain there at this time, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'm
you're-
not sure specifically where
Which section?
you're referring to, but along Glencoe,
Right.
where the stream restoration occurred, eventually it'll come back.
Okay, so some was removed, but
Yes,
it will come back.
yes,
That's the
it's,
nature of knotweed.
it's an invasive species that, is very adaptable to everything.
Okay, so July 13th, we'll be talking about that, and we do have an opportunity for a second $1,000 mini grant. So we've received our first one, but we can apply for a second one. So I hope to talk about how we can get that extra $1,000 into Green Tree at our workshop meeting. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Joanne Bickledge. I live at 116 on Green Tree Road. I'm a 27-year resident of Green Tree. Thank you all for your service. Sure, it's not easy making everybody happy all the time. I also want to congratulate Alyssa and the entire Green Tree Borough for their participation in bringing Bird Town designation to Green Tree. I think that's wonderful. Having said all that, and you just answered one of my questions, I think that part of the Bird Town designation too would be to help educate us as a borough, as a community, on how to coexist with the wildlife. Because as we all know, they're not going anywhere. Having been here for 27 years, I've always had a large deer population in my backyard. They leave paths and signs. I learned early on to coexist with them. So I stopped putting flowers and I stopped doing this, and I still have a beautiful backyard. So, and I feel for your situation. Thank you very, very much.
I quit the flowers too, but it doesn't matter. Everything else.
I understand. So my current situation is a little bit different because they have not completely destroyed my backyard, but I do have a lot of trail marks and paths where they frequently pass through. They do hang out back there. They seem to gravitate towards my backyard. They seem to love it back there. I have many deer through the winter and even currently that have seemed to make my backyard their home. I, for one, am very interested in learning how to can support the bird community because the bird seed attracts the deer as well. So, and I, for one, do not want to not be able to feed the wildlife in my backyard, but I want to know how to be responsible about it so that it's not infringing on the rights of my neighbors and the community at large. So, and then a lot of this stuff may seem not related, but I think it is. Also, as a 27-year resident that lives on Green Tree Road, if we know we have a deer population situation that continues to grow, please point out to me if I'm wrong, but I don't see any deer warning signs that I'm aware of anywhere. And I think that is important to, I think while the community members, residents are aware of the deer, I don't think people visiting and passing through our community are aware of how many deer we have. And because it's confusing that maybe we're not as far out in the country, that's what I love about Green Tree, is while we are close to the city, we are in the suburbs. But I think people that pass through don't realize that, so they need to be alerted that there are a lot of deer around. Also, as someone that lives on Green Tree Road, I'm very much aware of the traffic patterns and people passing through. Do not follow the speed limits on Green Tree Road. There aren't a lot of signs posted. We take for granted that people know what the speed limits are, but I can assure you people take advantage of the speed limits on Green Tree Road at different times of day and night, especially the large semis that come through. It's a privilege for them to be able to use Green Tree as a pass-through. But they do need to respect the fact that it is a very residential area. So I think that needs to be addressed, or then they're going to have to lengthen or make their journeys longer by doing workarounds and it will cost them more money, but I think they need to be more cognizant of the speeds on Green Tree Road. Also, forgive me for not speaking specifically using the right language, but there was a discussion earlier about the speed signs that will alert people when they're going over the speed limit. And that you mentioned that they are movable, they're mobile. I think that would be also good for Green Tree Road that people know. Cause I think even myself, when I'm driving, Forsyth Road has one of those signs up. And I find myself going faster than I should on Forsyth. And when I see that, it's a reminder for me to slow down. So I think that would be very effective on Green Tree Road as well. Not just for the people, the residents, but the animals too. And there are lots of animals. I mean, even there are a lot of people that have cats and they seem to have different opinions as to whether the cat should be left inside or out. So, you know, there's even cats out in my backyard that shouldn't be out in the middle of winter when it's sub-zero temperatures. And I feed them too. So anyway, I think that was everything I wanted to say. Forgive me, I was a little nervous speaking in front of you all like this, but hopefully, I appreciate being here and all your time for listening, okay?
You did great. Good job. I believe, there is a deer sign on Green Tree Road. I believe it's near like 1013, like a little bit further back from the BP.
There's one down in Nobleston too.
Yeah, so I mean, we can obviously get one, but I think there is one that I remember seeing on Green Tree Road.
One. One.
Yeah, so, but at least it's on Green Tree Road, but there is one there, yeah.
Dawn Ham, 1035 Green Tree, or North System, sorry. When I brought this deer problem to you last fall, I was told by everybody I spoke with afterwards that, nothing would ever come about it because nothing ever has. So I'm here to thank council, I'm here to thank the planning committee, because I think, at least last year's council and planning committee and this year's follow through, deserve some credit for seeing a problem that we have and addressing it. You know, I'm a house going down North that has, well, there are a couple of us that have plastic flowers. And deer do eat plastic flowers. So at least they'll take one bite if they know they don't want it, and then they'll drop it on the ground. So even plastic flowers are not safe. So, but I did want to thank you. I think you deserve that, to hear a thank you tonight for the follow through on the ordinance and realizing that it is just the first step in what's needed to be done. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Before I make the motion to adjourn, I just wanted to follow up with the GAA, who's left out. So if we shoot for August the 10th, a workshop meeting to discuss the baseball fields, the whole night, that's the topic. I would love to extend the invitation to the planning commission, because I know you probably don't have enough meetings to attend, so if you could also possibly come on August the 10th. So at this time, I would like to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting to go to an executive session